right, everybody. Welcome to another day of the Unscripted show. It's good to have my boy Logan, who's been on a hiatus. He starts his radio job that he's got going on. By the way, Logan, congratulations on getting your aspirations fulfilled.
So thank you.
Hey, as you know, listen, we got a great guest on today, special guest, if you will, none other than my boy, Philly sports guy, Philly Pags, man. It's good to have you back on post World Series. Thanks for giving us. I know you only got 30 minutes, but I appreciate your time, brother.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you fitting me in here. So I know you really wanted to get you got things to say. So we might as well jump right into it because you ain't got me for very long. So you might as well try to get your words out. Although I'm
Go ahead, Terry.
Either way.
Hey, then we get Frankie the Yankee, Foxboro Frankie. Hey, what's up, my brother? A little hiatus, but good to have you back on.
What's going on, boys? Happy 2-year anniversary.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
2 years, man. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years. But no, seriously. Hey,
is this your birthday?
We're not talking
is this
World
your
Series.
birthday?
It is.
Happy birthday.
It's
Look at
our
that.
show's birthday.
Hey, we're 2 years into it, man. So
That's
why I
awesome.
wanted to have
That
you
is
on.
so awesome.
Kind of jazz up the show a little bit.
Well, you know, and I appreciate that, especially since you got me at like the one time where I said something wrong on this show that didn't come to fruition. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so I figured that's I said that the Phillies were going to do it, and they didn't do it, and but I would definitely say that Houston was the better team in that series.
Yeah, and really, we've kind of burnt out the whole World Series conversation. I really kind of, since I do only have you for a short, I really want to kind of get more into after the World Series. I want to talk about the Phillies and where they go after the World Series. There's a lot of free agents out there that are about in the market. We kind of know that one of the biggest weaknesses I think the Phillies have is in that bullpen, not the starting pitching. Starting pitching's fine. You got great, positional players. You got a great offense. You got a great coach. But that bullpen just hurts you guys. And, Montero, we just signed Montero, I think a week ago. So we got one of our key guys back. But where do you see the Phillies going in building up that bullpen? Because I really think that's all you need, and you're back in the World Series again in a much better situation.
I don't think it's as simple as that, actually. I think that there's more to it. When it comes to the bullpen, the problem is that there isn't many out there. So the one thing that teams are able to do is that when you find somebody worthwhile that's in your bullpen, you sign them for 2 years. So you always have them the second year, and then you trade them away to a team that's contending. And the Phillies haven't been really able to do that. We tried to do that with Robertson, and it kind of worked a little bit, but it wasn't the end all be all. You need to have really great bullpen in general throughout the season, guys that can give you innings or give you longevity in one game. You know what I mean? But either way, the innings got to be accounted for. And I think you have to start looking at starting pitchers that are looking for another way to remain relevant. And I think that's hard to do. Like, I think Cole Hamels would have been a great 7th and 8th inning guy. Like even on this team right now, I know he ain't played for a year, but I think that he would have been a great 7th and 8th inning guy, or like a 6th, like a 5th and 6th inning guy even. When I think of even the World Series and how that went out, the one thing that I could say about Thompson that he made of a rookie mistake type of situation was that he brought in Alvarado because he felt that Alvarado was going to be the best way to get out the guy that smacked that like 500 foot.
Yeah, that was Alvarez.
Thank you.
That was Alvarez. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I thought that was a mistake right then and there. If you were going to bring
Right.
somebody in, you had to bring in Ranger Suarez. That was going to be the guy who's going to get him out and get the rest of the inning out, and then and then go
Right.
pitch the next inning and bring you to the seventh inning. That's what you needed to do, but he wanted to maybe start him for Game 7. And I thought that was a bad move too. I think you could have gotten 4 innings out of Nola and then also done that. Ranger Suarez is one of the guys that we're talking about. That's what I feel
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
That he is a
Yeah, because
bullpen guy.
if he doesn't, if he leaves Wheeler in and Wheeler works himself out, great. Or if he brings in Suarez, like you said, he gets himself out and they're fighting another inning or whatever. But man, by the way he's looking at, they're probably not going to be in Game 7 even worried about.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways that we could look at it. Like I said, truth of the matter is that Dusty Baker won 2 of those games himself. Yeah, I know. We're going back to talk. Only because I haven't spoken to you, so I'm sorry. We're going to be talking about more World Series than I'm because it's But Dusty Baker won 2 of those games for you guys. That first game against Wheeler himself, like he did a couple of things that he watched specifically from the Braves in Game 2 of that series or Game 1 of that series,
Right.
where he was like, you got to attack him early. First pitch, you just key in. This is what he throws. It's a 4-seam fastball. That's his first pitch strike every at bat. Sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. The first 3 guys, you're your hitter, your leadoff hitter, sucked the entire playoffs till that last at bat in the one game before that. I think in Game 2 it was, or Game 3, he got a weak hit in Game 3 that meant nothing in the game, obviously. But he got a weak bloop single. And I said, he's going to wind up getting hot. That's the one guy we don't want to get hot. And he started to get hot after that. He started to hit the ball a lot. Your leadoff guy for Houston.
Altuve.
Yeah. He got hot.
Man, Altuve, jeez.
And he was terrible the entire playoffs. But
Horrible.
he got a bloop single in Game 3 and then got hot.
Right over the shortstop's head, little blooper.
Yeah. It was like in the 8th inning too. And I'm like, oh man, and I knew it then. I'm like, he's going to start to get hot now. Like all of a sudden,
Sometimes that's all you need.
He was getting on base a little
Frankie
bit.
was giving me all kinds of crap, and rightfully so, because I was giving him crap about Judge, So he gave me a lot of stuff about how bad Altuve was, and he's correct, 0 for 25. And I was just telling myself, good God, man. Just, at the end of this Yankees series, I think we could pull it out without Altuve. But at the end of this series, just Altuve, if he could just get his back going to get us, at the NL or the ALCS level or the World Series level at that time, I think it was, we'd be great. And thank God, the last 2 games of that series, Altuve started coming out of that funk he was in. But man, I was definitely worried about that going into it after that 0-25.
He was still
Logan,
on that funk, Jay. He was still on the funk. He only got 1 hit each of those games, but he got it there. He got you guys there.
Right.
Hey, you got to take what you can get when you can get it, right?
And like I said, in game 4 and Game 5 and really Game 6, he did much better. I think for those 3 games he batted about 360. He went great at the last few games, all because of that loop single. And I knew
sometimes
it then.
That's all you need to get you going. It's just get that timing, finding the ball to ball to back connection, and that's all you got to worry about.
And I tell you, when they brought out Alvarado, I said it. I might have even said it out loud in front of a whole bunch of Astros fans, saying that they should have brought out Ranger Suarez.
When they brought out Alvarado and Alvarez was at bat, I don't know if I told Frankie that, but I know I said, yep, Astros about to pull it out. And sure enough, that 450-foot bomb, I was like, yep, there's Alvarado. Because he did that.
And I tell you, not for nothing, they are wrong with their estimate of that ball. that was every bit of 480 to 490 feet. And I don't care what
I
they
wouldn't
say.
doubt it. Yeah, I wouldn't
That
doubt it.
ball went over everybody's head above the H. Like it went through
It
like
went above the
oh
batter's eye.
like it was in the they found that ball. I think they found that ball in the team store.
Yeah.
Like that's where that ball wound up at because it went in the hallway, in the vestibule behind there. So
I guarantee you, if that wouldn't have been
I
a wall
watched
there, that
that.
ball would have probably been out by the
I
body
was
block.
close to where that ball went. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know home runs. You know, I've watched a lot of them. And you know, there was a couple of like we could have had a couple of home runs that we hit to the wrong part of the park. So like literally there was one home run, should have been a home run if it was 10 foot over. That caught it in a very weird spot, but that's just happened to be where it landed, where that weird jut out goes back towards the those weird fences that you guys have in that park.
Yeah, that
We
whole
had that
ballpark
same
has some
problem.
odd.
Philly sports guy, we had that same problem in a game in Houston where Aaron Judge almost hit a home run and it just didn't go over. And Jay remembers he hit me up and he said, "Oh my God, I thought that was a home run right there.
I did,
It would
man.
have ended and it would have ended the game right there, because I think we would have been up by like 2 runs or whatever. But it's something about Houston Astros ballpark.
Well, I
Yeah,
told him, I said, the only reason that ball, hey, because that ball hit almost at the top of the wall when he caught it. Had that roof been open or closed, that ball would have been completely out. Because that roof was open, and that wind hit it a little bit. I guarantee you, and kept that thing from getting into the stands.
right.
That's just how Houston ballpark works. Hey, so Logan, man, we got Pags on here. As he's pretty much everything Philly, man. Hey, everything's up for debate, man. 76ers, hey, Eagles, you know what happened with the Commanders. Hey, what do you got for Pags?
Yeah, man. We were saying a little bit before the show, Pags, that maybe we could give you some of that voodoo magic before you came on with that Eagles loss the other night. What do you think the big issue was with the boys?
I, I mean, the thousands of different things that I saw wrong yesterday. There was a World Series hangover across the board. I think the Eagles have played 2 games in a month, and it looked it. It really looked it. That some of the bad mistakes that they were making. I mean, there's in Philadelphia. All I keep hearing about is the defensive coordinator. And the truth of the matter is that the defensive coordinator didn't lose that game. Yeah, they still only had like however many points, and we score 30 points a game. If we don't score 30 points a game, we're not going to win these games. That's the way that this team works. So we got to score our points. If we don't score our points, we're not going to win. And you can blame whoever you want to, because it shows that they scored 32 points. That last touchdown doesn't count. You know what I mean? And so they really had 26, and we got to score 27. And we could have done 27. We could have probably gotten there, but we didn't. And
Yeah, absolutely.
certain mistakes. You could say a bad call by the ref or a couple bad calls by the ref, but everybody wants to call. Oh, the refs had a big problem with that last call of when you hit the quarterback. I'm like, that was not as bang bang as you think it was. It was, don't touch him. What are you doing touching him? What are you doing touching him? Don't touch him. And
Yeah.
it was 15 yards, and that was the end of the game there. That was the end of the game there.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There was one play that, and I think it was an interception where he caught it. He went down. He tried to get back up because nobody had. No, I think it was a catch.
It wasn't an interception. It was a reception. It was a reception.
Yeah.
He got up, and the guy just banged the ball again.
Yeah.
These are certain times of the. Yeah, well, had he been touched and it was down by contact or just stayed down, no, but you're trying to make a play and you're in transition because that's what happens.
Right.
You're in transition, and I love Quez Watkins. I think
I
he
don't
was the
blame him for
fastest
trying to
guy
get
on the
back
field.
up. I don't.
Right.
I just blame him for
But
not securing the
you just
ball.
got to make sure. So when you're doing 5 other things, which is what's happening when you are receiving a ball, getting to the ground, realizing you haven't been touched, getting back up, that everything you like. The first thing is you got to hold the ball, then
Yeah.
start to run, and that's what he forgot that part.
Yeah, I mean, because if he would have had two hands as he got up, he'd have been fine. They would have pushed him back down, but they wouldn't have lost that ball. But again, I get what you're saying, because sometimes when you're in the moment, you forget those fundamental things.
I mean, everybody's human. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we're getting at here. Was it a mistake? Yes. Was it a mistake that probably cost them the game? Probably. But there were a lot of other mistakes in that game as well. And it doesn't matter when you turn the ball over 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, you ain't supposed to win that game. Now they turned it over twice as well, and one of the times it was actually worthwhile. The other time it really, one we scored a touchdown. The other time we stopped them from scoring a touchdown. But they
Yeah.
were already in the lead. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to do something with those. And we weren't able to capitalize on their mistakes.
And what about that rushing game? I mean, John Suggs kind of points it out. You guys had roughly about 20 yards. I felt like you didn't rush the ball enough either, especially against a Washington-led defense. I thought maybe you could have got more on the ground with that. What was your thought process on that?
They wanted away from the run because Washington's defensive line, I think, was the first time or the second time that they played all together, maybe since they've been drafted all together. Like they have been. So the one thing that Washington has done very well has secured their lines. The offensive line's healthy now. The defensive line's healthy. When you start doing that, you start to actually win those battles. Now, our defensive line wasn't very healthy, and they were able to rush on us because when you have Jordan Davis, who is 6'5", 360 pounds, he takes up a lot of space, and you can't move him. Fletcher Cox is an old version of that, and you can move him. You can move him some. You're not moving him a lot, but you're moving him enough. And you don't have Jordan Davis next to him saying you ain't moving me. Now blocking up the rest of the stuff. So it was the first time we really got exposed not having Jordan Davis. And
absolutely. I definitely agree. Frankie had a question for Philly Sports Guy. Frankie, what was your question for Philly?
Yeah, first of all, I want to just say, how about them Bruins, baby? How about them Bruins? But on the real note, Philly Sports
Hold on,
Guy.
are we talking hockey yet? Are you giving me a hockey thing in November? Are you kidding me? Have you guys even played anybody yet? I know that you played Sister Mary the Blind and the Poor and the Decrepit and all this other stuff. You ain't playing the Flyers yet, and we stink. So I mean, come on now. Are you really talking to me about hockey in November?
I mean, well, when the Flyers come to town, they're not gonna be.
And I would have thought you were maybe a Kings fan because you're a Lakers fan. Oh, I thought maybe you were a Rangers fan because you're a Yankees fan. Oh, that's right. You're just a bandwagon fan. Okay, what was your question?
I mean, I thought bandwagon was a term of liking a team and then switching the same year, but it's okay. But my real question for you, Philly Sports Guy, is so the last 2 games before the bye week, you guys had a little defensive trouble against the Houston Texans. And then watching last night's game, I seen that you're still having defensive trouble, secondary wise and stuff like that. But also having miscommunication hiccups. Last night, I feel like the Eagles could have pulled it out, but what ruined them was when Heineke had down the ball, and yet you guys still went and tackled him instead of just touching him. That force.
That's why I say don't touch him. You don't even need to touch him. You don't even need to touch him. That was such a frustrating play for me because everybody thought that it was bang bang. It wasn't bang bang. They shouldn't have touched him. He was down. You shouldn't have touched him. You know better. Better. And that's what it was. It was a mental lapse. It was definitely a mental lapse. And The very next play, there was a skirmish on the field because they knew that. Because they knew they screwed it up. They screwed the pooch there. So yes, there was a lot of things that I saw. You could talk about that play. You could talk about the ref's non-call, which also falls into the mix. You could talk about the second down play that he had three tight ends on the field and decided that he was going to try to do some weirdo pass play with only 2 minutes left in the game. And we went 3 and out in like 20 seconds or 15 seconds. So the coaches got blame here, the defense got blame here, the offense has blame here. But to go very back to what you initially said here in the process is that every game, every game is won with the offense and defensive lines. And when you have a big piece missing in your defensive line, you're going to have some exposure. Our whole entire world for every team, all goes on their offense and defensive line. If they've got holes in those spots, you can maybe overcome that with a lot of talent in certain spots. But if you don't have those intact, you're going to lose games. And that's what happened. They had a better offensive and defensive line. I don't think their receivers were any better. I don't think the quarterback was any better. I don't think anybody else was any better. They had better offensive and defensive lines. And
Now, do you have any? I seen yesterday Jason Kelsey got injured with an ankle injury, but he ended up coming back out. Do you have any insider news on his injury for his ankle?
yeah, he's fine. So Justin Kelsey, is definitely a gamer. So you'd have to tear his leg off for him not to be out there, and I he is he is the glue of that offensive line, and for a
I'll
lot of
say
other
I'll say he's the
reasons.
glue. I'll say he's the glue of the Philadelphia Eagles.
So I mean, he's definitely a strong. He's a if you want to be able to have that vocal locker room presence, he's that
Right.
guy. I think that there's a lot of people that make the Eagles operate the way that they do, and he's one of those major pieces. He's a Hall of Fame center,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you don't hear about that.
Absolutely. He's very
You don't
good.
hear about them. There's no
True.
such. Yeah, you don't ever hear somebody talk about a Hall of Fame center, but he's definitely a Hall of Fame center, and when he goes, you don't replace him. When you're the best at your position, and then there's everybody else. Now he said, "Hey, I got this guy right here who just came from Cincinnati and is the center that he was." So we may be able to have the luck of it being the same thing over and over again. But Kelsey is going to it's going to get a big hole when he decides that he wants to hang it up.
Gonzo, did you have a question that you want to ask Philly sports guy? Again, man, anything, man. 76ers, whatever you want to talk about. What question do you have for Pabs?
Actually, I was going to ask you how worried are you about your guys' run defense? You guys had trouble last night. I'm going to be playing the Colts with Jonathan Taylor. Do you think it's just more like you said?
We all there?
Yeah.
Well, hey, ask that question again, Gonzo. We had a little static.
Oh. No, are you worried about?
Oh my God. There you go.
There we go. I fixed
No,
it. Now, go ahead. Ask me again.
Are you worried about the Eagles' rush defense? They struggled last night, or do you think that's just that they are missing a big part of their defensive line? Because like next week you play the Colts with the running back like Jonathan Taylor. Do you think that's going to be an issue?
I don't think the running back's the issue. I think the line's the issue. So the Colts have an okay offensive line. It's not as good as Washington's. So I think that anybody who has a better offensive line beats the Colts. Yep. Now, the Raiders don't have that. You know what I mean? So I think that Jonathan Taylor is going to get his, but he's not going to be the reason why we lose the game. If we were to lose next week, which I don't think we do, I think
That's not gonna happen.
yeah, there's no way. There's no way we are going to.
Hey, listen, we were saying the same thing about Washington. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
I hear you. I hear you. But there's there's too much conviction on the Eagles team to just say, oh, hey, this is the beginning of the end and we stink now. The Colts stink out loud. Washington's actually a good team. I still think that the whole NFC East is going to make the playoffs. And right now,
I wouldn't
think
have
with
to be
that
surprised
win,
if that happens one bit.
and right now, I think with that win, the entire NFC East and the entire AFC East are all in the playoffs.
Yep.
Every
We
East
taking over,
team
boys. We
is
taking
in
over.
the playoffs.
I got to ask you a question. I'm going to switch gears real quick. I want to go to the 76ers real quick. Embiid had pretty much a hellified game against the Jazz the other night. He put up, 59, 11, and 8. Incredible. I think Maxey chipped in another 18. He got the win over the Jazz. But if you look at the rest of that team, they really didn't contribute a whole hell of a lot. My question for you is, right now you guys are 7-7. You're sitting at the number 7 seed in the East. How long can obviously Harden's going to walk
standings? We're talking about playoff standings in November.
No, we're not. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about and what I'm asking you is over the long period of the season that we still have to go through, how long can Embiid, be doing that before injuries start to plague him again when you do get to the playoffs?
So he's not injury prone. I know that. So the one thing I have a problem with Embiid was that before this, he was too busy worried about the Phillies, just like we all were. Because I saw him at all the Phillies games. When he gets a better seat than I do, and I was a little upset about that. I tell you, I know that somehow, some way, Embiid follows me because he said the exact same words I did the moment that I got into that building. I said, "Hey, listen, the season starts today because I'm here now. I haven't been here yet, and they didn't play like I wasn't here, but I'm here now, and we ain't losing again." And so far, we're 3-0 since I've been there. That being said, I haven't traveled with the team yet. You know what I mean? They haven't asked me to go on the road, but he kind of felt the same way because he was doing similar things that I was doing. You know what I mean? It's like his focus was elsewhere because he wanted to be a fan. And Jason Kelce said something on his podcast very recently saying it's rare when athletes get to be fans. And Joel Embiid was being a fan. This kid's still 26, 27 years old. He's not even 30. He's like not even close to being 30 years old yet.
He looks it.
And his baseball team was in the World Series.
Yeah.
How much do you want to play basketball when you're worried about your other team? How did they do? I'm more worried about, did they, like what's going on there? And I think that that's what happened. I think his focus was elsewhere.
So you gotta be like Houston. We sit at the bottom. Nobody cares right now. So everybody's it was on the Astros. But let me ask you this, because I know you got to go. We're approaching that time for you. I just want one question. Because we're in the week right now of awards for MLB or for Major League Baseball. Who gets the damn MVP for the AL? Ohtani or Judge?
Judge.
How about
Judge has to. Judge absolutely has. Here's my belief. If you are going to be back-to-back MVP, you better have had a better season than you did last year. And although Ohtani may have had a little bit of a better season he did last year, it wasn't so profound and he wasn't so far out there. Just because he does something that's only been done in like the 1900s doesn't mean that he was so incredibly awesome at anything.
Yeah,
Judge
absolutely.
himself brought the Yankees to the playoffs. You
That's
take
true.
Judge off of that team, and now Yankees are like everybody that they thought they'd be at the very beginning of the season. They would have been like 70 and 92.
Mm.
So, and Judge
Yeah,
is the only
yeah,
reason
I
about
agree
that.
with you. I mean, I think Frankie kind of thought more that Gallo got him there, but
No, 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 no.
Ha!
I do
I gotta
agree
give him a
because
hard time about Gallo, man. I just gotta give him a hard time about Gallo.
I
Hey,
tell
Philly, man,
I
I know
know
you gotta
more
get
about
out.
Gallo than I really care to even admit because I used to bust somebody else's balls about Gallo all the time. I would do Gallo reports as a Dodger because all of a sudden he found his swing again when he went to LA. So
yeah,
Mm.
but he did that same exact thing, and I've been telling all Dodger fans that is that when he got traded from wherever he was, I forgot Texas, when he got traded from them to come to the Yankees, he did the same exact thing. He was hitting the ball, he was getting home runs, and then the next year he was shit. He shit the bed. He wasn't the same, and we traded him, and then he found his hit again with the Dodgers. But then towards the end of the season, Joey Gallo became the Joey Gallo we all knew from the beginning of the season. He wasn't finding his stride anymore, and that's why he's a free agent right now, and nobody's gonna pick him up.
right, and I agree
Mm.
with that. I felt the same exact way about Schwarber. I thought Schwarber would be worse this year because I thought that he was like, hey, he gets hot at the right time. He's like a September, October guy. Thank God I was wrong about that. You know what I mean? Schwarber was one of the leaders on this team. Obviously, this is Bryce Harper's team, but Schwarber was one of the ones who really said, "Hey, we can do this, and you believe in me." And it worked. It worked. We were
Mm.
believers.
All right, Philly, man. I know you're on a tight schedule, man, so I'm gonna let you go. But I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I look forward to having you back on soon, my brother.
Hey, and congratulations on being right one time out of a million. I listen. I liked being there. I enjoyed watching the Astros fans celebrate because it was a real
Hey, and you got some
celebration.
good Tex-Mex food while you were down there, I hope, because Houston's got a lot of good Tex-Mex.
Hold on. You thought I ate something? Or was I
Man,
didn't
if
You
eat
you
want
did, you
anything?
you
missed
want him
out.
to
I would have had Tex-Mex every
you
day.
want him to get a stomach bug in
I did have
Houston?
actually. I had Mexican. I had a Mexican breakfast, a true Mexican breakfast. So.
Oh yeah, believe me, you will get a true Mexican breakfast. There's plenty of those around Houston. I promise you.
Yeah, he didn't get it in Houston though. It was on his way back home. He stopped at Dallas at the airport.
Oh, stop your lying. Everybody knows Houston's got great
Yeah.
Mexican food. All right,
Yeah,
Pax,
I
man.
don't know about
Appreciate
Dallas
you,
at
my
all, but
brother.
all right, guys, have a good one. Thank you for having me. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, thanks, Pax. All right, folks. Hey, we're gonna get this show underway. Sean, check your audio though. I think you got some reverb coming through.
I can't wait for the Bruins to play the Flyers. I'm just saying that right now. When that time comes,
Oh
Jay,
man, hey, don't
when
worry.
that
Hey,
time
there's a whole
comes,
topic on the Bruins. Hold off on the Bruins. We're
I
gonna
hope.
get to
No,
the
I'm just
Bruins.
saying.
I promise.
I just want to say that when that time comes, I want Philly Sports Guy back on the show because that's when he'll get
Oh
heated
no, we'll
between me
get
and
it
Hank.
back. Trust me. Hey, we'll get Philly back. He loves to come on and talk sports. Yeah, that's easy. Hey, let's talk about. Actually, there is one thing I do want to kind of talk to before we talk about NCAA football. The last thing I want to talk about baseball was Yasiel Puig. You probably remember him back in his Dodger days. If you know anything about Yasiel, he's now pitching over in South Korea, but he's under an investigation. He's been betting out of his mind illegally for a very long time with Nick's Sports Bets, who was, again, an illegal gambler. But he does it all online to the tune of he actually got $292,000 in debt to Nick or Knicks. It's Knicks. I'm sorry, Knicks. And then he paid $200,000 of that off. And then he replaces and goes out and puts 899 more bets on tennis and hockey and everything else between July and September of 2019. So now, hey, he'll be back in court. He faces up to 5 years imprisonment. and $55,000 fine. Yes, y'all believe. What a time to be alive. I just thought I'd let you guys know that, Seattle's got some issues.
And Jay, I just want to quickly say, before we go into the college football and we're still on the baseball topic, can we just say how dumb the Mets are for giving Edwin Diaz a same type of contract that they did for the previous guy that literally has about a couple more years left to collect, and he hasn't even played on the Mets for about 20 years? They did the same thing to Edwin Diaz, giving him a 5-year deal. Yeah, giving him a 5 or 6 year deal, but they're going to be paying this guy until 2042, I believe.
Oh, trust me. Hey, and that's why they're the Mets. That's why I'm not worried about the Mets.
Also, they did not make any moves today. They didn't add anyone to the roster. They didn't get rid of anyone. They just kind of did nothing.
Honestly, right now in baseball, in free agency, it's very quiet. I mean, it's very, very quiet out there right now. So I don't know, man. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. Shaw, you there, Bubba?
You are muted, by the way, Shaw, if you're saying anything.
I think he stepped away. He'll be back soon, though. All right. Hey, look, let's get into some college football, man. A couple of topics. Really only a couple of topics I really want to kind of hit on in this specific way. Gonzo, I'm gonna let you lead this off. Georgia versus LSU is going to be the SEC showdown. Just kind of give you an idea of where things stand right now. TCU is at ranks 4. Tennessee is at 5, LSU is at 6, USC is at 7, and Alabama rounds it out at 8. So Gonzo, what do you make of this Georgia and LSU SEC showdown?
I think Georgia's going to beat LSU. I don't think LSU's offense is going to be able to put up enough points against this Georgia defense. We saw what the Georgia defense was able to do to Tennessee. So I think Georgia's defense is going to be the key to this game, but I think Georgia beats LSU.
Yeah, absolutely. Shaw, let me ask you, man. Hey, we know that the Georgia LSU SEC shutout is in de facto the college football's playoff quarterfinal for that. If LSU was to beat Georgia some kind of way, if they were able to beat Georgia, do they then get into the top 4? Because I got to imagine they're not going to want an SEC team out of the top 4. So do you see LSU bumping up from 7, I believe? No, 4 or 5. Do you see them going from number 6 and into the top 4? Because if that's the case, then somebody's going to get bumped out. And do you think TCU would be the victim of that? I think you're muted, Shaw.
You're muted, Shaw. You're going to have to unmute him, Jerry.
I got it. All right, so I had you muted. Go ahead. Oh, his mic's not connected.
Shaw, your mic ain't connected, buddy.
Oh, okay. Okay. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. LSU is number 7. I don't think if LSU, well, it's not going to happen, but if they do surprisingly do beat Georgia, I don't think they're going to jump all the way from where they're at all the way to number 2 and play, in the national championship. But it just comes from my hatred to LSU. I don't like them. I can't stand LSU. But Georgia going to beat them. Georgia is going to beat them. I don't think LSU has the defense to keep up with Georgia. The only, we've seen that Georgia going to put up points on LSU. But if LSU is going to win, this is what they got to do. You got to beat Georgia. You can't make no mistakes. You have to get out there. You got to go early and fast. You got to put your knee on Georgia's head and keep on going. If you don't, Georgia will beat you. And I don't see Georgia losing to LSU. I think Georgia will be in the championship. And if everything plays out this weekend the way I hope, I think it'll be Ohio State and Georgia.
That's an interesting thought. Let me ask you this, Frankie. Georgia lost last year in the SEC championship. Although they did get the title, they did lose the championship to Bama. Now they're coming back. They're going to try to obviously get this SEC championship under their belt. and then go for the national title and get that under their belt. But I don't want to overlook this LSU though, because this is the highest ranked 2-loss team that we've seen yet. And again, they're ranked 6, USC 7, and Bama is ranked at 8. And they have they have losses at Florida State and Tennessee, but they got wins at Ole Miss and Alabama. How do you see this playing out for LSU? I mean, do you think Georgia, and I agree, I think Georgia's going to be a very tough team to beat. Or is there a chance in hell that LSU could upset Georgia and deny them an SEC championship again?
Yeah, I mean, LSU is going to have to do something, right? I mean, Georgia, they're number 1 for a reason. They're undefeated for a reason. They're defending champions for a reason. They beat the mine and Shaw's Alabama last year at the SEC. And you got LSU, who came out hot this year and also beat our Alabama this year. So I think LSU has a very, very good chance at trying to defeat Georgia, but the defense is just going to have to step up and they're going to have to play this like it actually is a championship game. I mean, this is a spot where you can move on forward into the playoff conversation. But even if they win, Jay, Shaw, Logan, Chris, even if they win, they're going to need other people to lose. They're going to need Tennessee to lose. They're going to need Ohio State to lose. They're going to need Michigan and TCU to lose as well. So they need all these teams to lose, but having a victory over Georgia and being the first team to actually beat them this year, it'll be an interesting one. And I agree with you guys. Georgia's going to score a lot of points on LSU, but something inside me is telling me that LSU is going to find a way to pull this out and get a victory over Georgia. Probably by 1 point or probably by 3 points. But something is just telling me that LSU can end up with a victory here.
No.
But I think Georgia is going to end up being victorious at the end of this one. LSU's defensively is just going to have to, step up really, really big.
Georgia going to beat them like a red-headed stepchild. That's what I tell you.
Hey, Gonzo, let me ask you this, man. TCU, man, they're sitting at number 4. A lot of people will instinctively say that TCU shouldn't be in the top 4 because it's TCU, Pac-12, blah, blah, blah. We don't care if they're undefeated or not. We don't care if they beat Oklahoma State at 8, if they beat Texas at 18, if they beat Kansas State University at 17, and they beat Oklahoma. They don't care about it. All they think is that TCU does not belong there. Now, they got to play Baylor this Saturday, and then they play Iowa State to wrap it up. I don't personally see them losing. I think they're going to win out and be, what are they right now? They're like 10-0. They'll be 12-0 going into the playoffs. So what do you think about TCU? If they win out, do they still stay in the top 4, or do you think somebody is going to bump them out just because it's TCU?
If they win out, I think they'll have a good chance of being top 4. But a lot of it depends on what happens, because if Georgia loses a game, say LSU beats Georgia, I think LSU will go to either 4 or 5. But if Georgia drops from 1, they're not going to drop Georgia all the way out of the top 4. So TCU could be the odd team out. I think a lot of it depends on what happens in the other games.
I agree. I agree with that.
No, and I definitely agree with it. I just hate it because I feel like you're kicking a team out who hasn't lost just because LSU is part of the SEC, quote unquote, but they got 3 damn losses. What the hell are we talking about?
I mean, remember last time Alabama had 2 losses.
Hold on, Shaw. I want to ask Logan. Logan, let me ask you this. Georgia wins the SEC showdown. LSU takes the loss. I apologize. LSU wins, knocks Georgia down. Like they said, they're not going to bump Georgia out of the top 4.
No.
Do you let LSU in? I get it, they won the SEC championship, but yet they got 2 losses versus a team that wins out. I mean, I know that's what's going to happen, but in your eyes, what do you feel like that's the fair thing, or is that just a political thing?
I feel that the only way they could bump LSU in is if TCU takes another loss. You know what I mean? if TCU wins outright, they don't deserve to get kicked out. They've lost less games.
Right.
But, obviously I get the whole, it's Georgia, the number 1 seed, yada, yada, yada. But that would be pretty much screwing TCU for what they've done this whole season, which is, exceeding everyone's expectations.
Yeah, and again, I mean, if your only credible thing, and it is a big credible thing, I don't want to minimize it.
No, yeah, it's a good thing.
But come on, man.
I mean, even if TCU ends up losing a game and LSU does end up beating Georgia, how can that even play out? I mean, the closest team that I think that will end up taking TCU's spot will probably be Tennessee if they ended up winning. I mean, LSU just can't jump from 7 all the way up to 4 if Tennessee's right there at 5 and they end up getting a victory.
And USC been playing it too.
Yeah, Tennessee was just a top 4 team. They were literally number 1 2 weeks ago.
They were just in there.
Honestly,
John Suggs does make a good valid point, and that's why you're right. If TCU's in there, they're not going to be a big enough money grab like, let's say, LSU or a Tennessee would be. I get that and I understand it. Doesn't mean I like it.
But I will say this though, speaking of money, I mean, I've been to a few road games before, and TCU, they travel pretty well, TCU. But if you want to talk about money, USC, they travel well, they make big money too. Ohio State, if you've ever been to a lot of road games, them fans travel just as much as SEC fans travel. So money will be involved in this, but if TCU wins out, they deserve to be in the top.
I mean, is money really involved? Because let's be realistic. Last year, we had a team that nobody even knew about that ended up in the number 4 spot, who basically are just like TCU, that basically don't have bring in much money. I forgot the team's name.
Cincinnati.
But they're not even. Yeah, Cincinnati. They're not even in the top 25 right now. So I mean, TCU can honestly be like the Cincinnati of last year.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to point out real quick before we get into the NFL topic. This is the first time in a long ass time that the original 3 of Logan and Shaw and Jay were on the same screen together. What a
your anniversary, Jay. We had to.
I love this anniversary.
It's our birthday, and Gonzo's our adopted son.
And Frankie, he's our international family guy that we adopted from overseas. So I don't know how much better it gets than that.
I'm just a hooker they found under the subway in Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, Frankie, can Alabama get a championship?
Alabama
can
definitely make it to the championship. I mean, if Alabama wins and everybody else in the top 7 loses, Alabama can definitely make it.
That's what I'm
pray for it.
Hey, I messed up on this slide. I got a recap, but this really wasn't supposed to be a recap show. This actually supposed to be more of an NFL Week 10 takeaway show, or just takeaway in general. Let me ask you this. Shaw, let's start off with you first, man. Jets. Well, first of all, let me give you the standings. Miami is 7-3 at the top. Jets are tied with the Bills at 2-3 at 6-3, and New England is right there in the mix at 5-4 at the bottom. Let's talk about these Jets, man. They lost Breece Hall. Michael Carter steps up, fills the shoes nicely, and they continue mission. Are these Jets for real? And let me ask you this. That's question 1. And Shaw, I want you to take question 1. Are these Jets for real or pretenders?
I have to say yes. To that, Jay. Reason why I say that because I work around a lot of people from New York, and they love their Jets. Now, I didn't see this coming about the Jets. I really thought the Jets was going to be the same old Jets, but man, they're playing really well right now. But I think they're for real. I think they're for real, Jay. I really do think so. I think they're going to go to the playoffs, but how far will they go?
And that really kind of is the $1 million question. And I'm glad you asked that, because I'm going to have Gonzo do a quick follow-up to that. Are we going to build off of that? How far can the Jets go? So I'm going to ask you a question, Gonzo. Based off of that theory, We know that Zach Wilson has played 6 games. He's given them 57.5% completion rate, 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. Flacco has given them 3 games at 58.7% at 900 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. If you look at the stats, it's almost like Flacco gives you the better option to go further than what Wilson does. Again, those are just numbers. Realistically, what do you think? Do you think Wilson is a better guy or Flacco is a better guy to get these guys deeper? Who do they go deeper with?
I think they would go deeper with Flacco because when you have a defense like that the Jets have, you just need a quarterback that don't turn the ball over. As long as you don't turn the ball over, just manage the game, you're going to have a chance to win because their defense is so good. It does hurt them that they lost Breece Hall. I think bringing in Robinson was a good pickup, but I think Flacco just is a little bit steadier and more consistent. I think at this point he'd give him a better chance to move on in the playoffs.
Interesting. Frankie, the defense of the Jets has given up 1,800 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards. Can the Jets defense, when they go up against the tougher offenses, out there, like a Chiefs, a Miami, because what Miami brings to the table, and Vikings and with the Eagles, can this Jets defense actually contain these guys to give the offense a chance?
I mean, I really don't want to talk positively on the Jets because, I mean, realistically, I mean, when we got the Jets coming up this week and we already beat them, so and we're not that tough of a team like those teams that you just said, like Philadelphia, Buffalo, or Minnesota. But I do want to say, for one, for all those people that are watching, don't think that the Vikings are something good. All right, they just literally got a legit win yesterday against the Buffalo, or on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. The rest of the season, they've been playing mediocre teams, so I don't think that the Vikings are something to be worried about. But the Jets, on the other hand, they're also something to not be worried about. I also agree that they had a couple of good games. Their one win that I think is legit is also against the Buffalo Bills, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an AFC guy, Patriots man. But realistically, like the Jets, they still remind me of the Jets. It's just harder this year because literally everyone in the AFC East is a tough competition this year. The Jets defensively, Jay, are not that good, and we proved it to them. We proved it to them a couple of weeks ago when we faced them. They're not that good.
I get that. Logan, I want you to close this one topic, and then we're going to get into the next one. With Justin Jefferson will be the next one real quick, and then we'll get on. Real quick, like Frankie mentioned, the Jets have lost to the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Patriots. And again, Breece Hall, when he was playing at the running back spot, he was giving them 5.8 yards per carry on average. Carter has given them 3.9 yards per average. How much is Carter going to affect the Jets going deep into the playoffs?
God, they're lucky they have him. I mean, not a lot of teams have pretty solid backup running backs who could fill in as a starter. But, I mean, I think Carter's a good player. I think that he's good in the passing game for catching a little bit. He's good at the running game. Like you said, a little bit under 4 per carry, but he hasn't really been the true starter. Once he gets a few more reps into him, and if, obviously if Zach Wilson struggles some games, they'll give him the ball more. But I think he'll, obviously he's not going to be the same production, but I don't think that the running game is just going to completely fall off of this team. I think they'll still be pretty steady.
No, they won't.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing for the Jets and how far the Jets go is their wide receiving core. I think they have an average, at best, wide receiving core. I just think they need that one speedy guy, that Tyreek Hill, that Jefferson, they need that one guy.
Okay.
That they can get that ball too deep or fast or whatever to really get them over that hump. And I think that's kind of the only thing that's really kind of hurt the Jets at this point.
Is there receiving core? Is there receiving core? That's what's hurting them?
Well, that's one of the things. That's one of the main things. I mean, I'm not going to say that the defense doesn't have some improvements or whatever, but definitely not having a true wide receiver one is hurting them.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were speaking differently on their wide receivers because I was gonna say really. I want people to start naming me their wide receivers right now.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said.
You can't.
I said at best they have an average wide receiving core. They don't have a true number one guy that can really,
they're just a shitty team, Jay. Let's be honest. The Jets are a shitty team, and they're just at 6.
You're gonna say they're shitty because they're 6-3 and you're 5-4. Let's not go that far.
I'm 5-4 for a reason, though.
Well, okay. Hey, listen. When you're sitting at number 2 or number 1, then we'll talk about shitty and not shitty.
We're gonna be number 2 after we beat the Jets on Sunday. So there you go, right there. But I want you to
listen.
I want somebody to look
listen. That'll definitely be something we're talking about. No doubt about it, right? Hey, listen. I would not be surprised, Frankie, to be honest with you, that McDaniels from the Raiders isn't your offensive coordinator by week 14. Okay, just be honest.
I'll accept that trade for a bag of pint-sized potato chips.
No refund.
He's not even worth the family size.
I want to get to the next question real quick. I want to talk Justin Jefferson. Is he a star or a superstar? Now, he's got 3 seasons in. He's just right at about, 4,076 yards, 21 touchdowns, 265 catches. That's his career. His regular season right now is 1,060 and 69 catches. The only guy that has more yardage than Justin Jefferson regular season this year would be Tyreek Hill. I think he's got about 100 or 200 yards. That's about it. So Tyreek is so Justin Jefferson's right at number 2. With 8 games left, he would have to average 117.5 yards to get 5,000 yards in 3 seasons. I got to be honest with you. When you look at a guy like, let's take Moss, for example. Moss played 12 years. I consider Moss a superstar. Moss gave you 15,292 yards, 156 touchdowns in 12 years. In 12 years. So I think that Jefferson is on that he's on that trajectory. He's on that track to catch a guy like Moss. So I think he will become a superstar. But I want to see where he's at year 6. For me, 3 years in, even though it's a great 3 years in, I want to see when he gets to year 6 and see if he's on that same trajectory, and then we can reevaluate him at that point. Not that this guy doesn't have great hands, great route runner, great speed. He's got all those things. But I don't want to get that superstar until about year 6 when I see where he's completely at. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Gonzo, what do you think? Justin Jefferson, star, superstar?
I think he's a superstar because he's on pace to be one of the fastest to get to 5,000 yards. It took OBJ 54 games. Julio was right around 54. He's going to have a chance to get it this year right around that same mark. And we consider OBJ a superstar. I think if you want him to call him a star, you can, but he'd be a star that's on his way to be a superstar if he keeps these numbers up.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob Scott, man, much love, man. Unscripted definitely appreciates you, my brother. And I get it. Hey, look, John Suggs, I think he's got a pretty legit quarterback. The guy's number 2 in the league. He's clearly getting the damn ball. How much more legit quarterback does he need? Just saying. Big Sean, star, superstar. What are we looking at?
Well, I think he's a superstar, but just think if he had like a Tom Brady or maybe a Peyton Manning or somebody throwing to him. Can you imagine what his numbers would be like right now if he had some of those guys throwing? I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is good, isn't good, but I don't think he's like super legit. He's Kirk Cousins to me. But yeah, Justin Jefferson is a superstar in my eyes. The man is just good. He is just that damn good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I probably am being a little more critical on it. I mean, I'm not. He probably is a superstar. I think with my mindset, I'm more looking at Hall of Fame numbers rather than superstar numbers. So I probably should say, yeah, he is a superstar because he's number 2 behind Tyreek Hill. So how is that not a superstar, right? And I guess what I'm looking at more so is Hall of Fame numbers. I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame if he keeps this up. I got to be honest with you. Frankie, star, superstar?
Yeah, I think he's hold on. I think he's a superstar. I mean, look what the man has been doing the last couple of years. And like Shaw said, he doesn't have a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers. This man is dealing with Kirk Cousins, and he's making Kirk Cousins look good. Now, when you have someone like Justin Jefferson that's making your quarterback look good, he's a superstar. And let's not forget, the man literally one-handed a catch on Sunday against the Bills
That was
on
beautiful.
a man who had the ball in his hands, and he took it away with one hand. You cannot say
I
that's
saw
not
that.
superstar
That was
material.
a damn good catch.
He's a superstar. He's a stupid star.
That was one of the best catches I've ever seen.
It was.
Logan, I'm going to just ask you just for formality reasons. I'm pretty sure we're going to agree. Star or superstar?
Man, easy superstar. This man has been one of the top receivers since he really came into the league in rookie season, and he has not fallen off. It's not like he gets injured or nothing. And I mean, he is ascending real quick. So yeah, definitely a superstar for me.
Okay, so real quick, some breaking news. Not really so much breaking, but just news really that came out. Chase Young is going to be activated, and he should be in the lineup this Sunday when they play the Texans. How do you see that, guys? Real quick, I mean, Chase Young, does he come out and get back into the groove, or do you think it's just going to take him a little bit to really establish himself back into Gonzo?
It'll probably take them a little bit. They'll probably have him on some kind of play count to start off the first couple games or so. But once he gets back in the groove of things, he'll make a big impact.
Shock.
No, I agree with Lonzo on that one. I don't think he's going to make an immediate impact right away because that's a serious injury he just had. So you want to, plus he's still young. So you want to, put him on maybe a few little counts here and there. Don't rush him. Don't force him to come back, just yet. A few more plays, take him out because he's a real good player, It's just that injury took some stuff away from him. But we're going to see, how he plays this Sunday if he plays. He's going to play Sunday or what? Or they don't?
Yeah. As it stands right now, unless they give him the no, he's looking to be playing on Sunday.
Yeah, I have him on the count. I wouldn't let him play the whole game, because you'll be stupid if you do that. So just let him play some plays here and there, take him out, see how he's doing, watch the progression, and if you think he's good to go, just take baby steps. Don't rush him.
Frankie, he tore that MCL and the ACL in his knee. They thought about putting him in there against the Philadelphia Eagles, but they said that he wasn't quite up to speed with all of his moves. So they wound up holding him out to put him in against Houston, which I think is a great move because Houston, not so much of a great powerhouse team. So they can ease him in, take him out, ease him in, whatever they need to do. And I think they're still going to get the win. But what do you think about Chase Young? Is he going to round back into that form before he got injured this year?
I think it's going to take him, sometimes. It's good that he's coming in now because, I think we have about, 8 weeks now left in the NFL season. So, yeah. And I think, and if I'm not mistaken, Washington didn't have their bye yet. So, I mean, you're saying that he could have played yesterday, but they didn't. He didn't because, he wasn't up to par and stuff like that. He's coming in against the Houston Texans, which is, like you said, Jay, is smart because they truly are not – they're not that good,
Right.
They're literally right now looking at the number one draft pick. But I'm not gonna downplay the Houston Texans because they almost walked away with a good victory on the Eagles 2 weeks ago. And they did tie this year with the Colts. But, we're not going to talk to Chris about that.
Hey, they didn't have Jeff Saturday. You can't say that.
Don't rush Chase Young. Chase Young is literally he's like a quarterback of the defense. He's your franchise defensive player, and we all know what Washington likes to do to their players right after their injury. Let's Robert Griffin III, for instance, you got injured, and they just kept playing him. So I mean, if I'm Washington, like Shaw said, play the man, but play him on limited time base, limited minutes. It's the Houston Texans. You're going to come out with a victory, especially coming after a victory on the Philadelphia Eagles and being the first team to beat them. So much momentum is riding on Washington right now, and it's sitting in the playoff picture. So if I'm Ron Rivera, and I know Ron Rivera he's going to play it smart. He's just that coach who knows what he's doing. he's going to play Chase Young to limited minutes, and I think we're gonna see the Chase Young of last or 2 years ago, whatever like that. We're gonna see that Chase Young. We're gonna see that Chase Young again by I'd say week 15, maybe week 16.
Absolutely, Logan. The last thing I want to ask you about Chase Young is more so if Chase comes back and rounds quickly back into form and stays healthy the rest of the way, how much do we put on the Washington Redskins football team in terms of being legitimate contenders with a healthy Chase Young now?
I don't know, Jay. I don't know that team.
I would say that team's not playing anymore. What do you mean?
Who's the Washington Redskins?
Oh, my bad, Commander. God, that's still a Freudian slip.
Yeah, that's why we don't know that team. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Listen, hey, trust me, man. It still takes a while getting used to it. So, Washington Commanders.
There we go.
What does he give to this team in terms of legitimacy?
I think give him a couple games to get back in his groove, maybe 3 or 4, and hope he can get back to how he was, his rookie season. Kind of struggled that second year, right? And then we know he had the injury problems. But I think that, he can give Washington a nice push. I don't know if it'll be quite enough to get into the playoffs because, like you said, right now there's a good bit of teams that are ahead of him. I know they're all close, but, that's a lot of teams. So I'd say give him a few games to get back under his belt and just get back into playing shape, really. And then, I think we'll give Washington a nice push, but I'm not sold on them being a playoff team quite yet.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to move into the next topic. Before we do, though, I think it's only fitting that Unscripted take a 3-second moment of silence for the death of the Los Angeles Rams. As we know, Cooper Kupp jacked up his ankle. He's going to have surgery. He's going to the IR. Let's just give a 3-second moment of silence for the death of the Los Angeles Rams.
Yo, I can't.
All right, and there you have it. There's your 3 seconds, Rams. Don't say that we didn't acknowledge.
Come on,
real quick, folks. History, believe it or not, has been made, and you're going to hear history right here on Unscripted. The Marlins, and I want you guys to remember this. There were 2 young ladies that Derek Jeter, when he was the chief operating officer, brought into the fold. One is the lady we're talking about here, the newly promoted Caroline O'Connor to president. She's the second woman to be named president. The first one was with Seattle, and her name was Katie Griggs, and she's still the president, by the way. So you got 2 females now in the presidential position. Where the history part comes into play is Kim, and I know I'm going to say her name wrong, Ning. Her last name is spelled literally N-G, and I don't know how to say that. So I'm going to say Kim N. In 2020, was promoted to GM. This is the first time in U.S. sports, period, that there is a female president and a female GM working side by side. What a time to be alive, folks. What a time to be alive. Kudos to the Marlins. I hope this works out for them. But, hey, it's good to see that, they're making history and they're doing it, I believe, in the right way because both of these ladies worked their way up. They weren't given these spots. They had to put their time in, and now they're here. As you know, Kim will be running the on-field business, and President O'Connor will run the off-field business, and that's how that's going to work in conjunction. But anyway, Gonzo, what do you think about that, brother?
No, I think it's a big step towards women's equality in some of the sports and stuff. And it's not. I think it's pretty cool that the same team has both positions, and you might start seeing other teams start doing the same thing. So I think it was pretty cool.
Absolutely, I feel the same way you do. And the one thing that Unscripted has been wanting to be a promoter of are women equality. Minorities getting more like head coaching job opportunities, things like that. So, it's important for us to advocate and show our support when things like this happen because it truly is a groundbreaking movement. Sean.
I think that's very good. Hopefully, we can get more females and in top sports offices. So it's pretty good. I'm glad to see that. Hopefully, hopefully we can get more stuff like this. It's very exciting. But hopefully I can get a job with the Marlins. I want to work. I want to get up there too. Give me a CEO, vice CEO job. I don't know who I got to talk to, but I tell you what though, this cognac is good.
Hey, first off, John Suggs, actually, Ron Rivera has kind of come out already said it. He doesn't think that Wentz is going to get the job back. I think he's leaning toward Heineke continue to run the operations at quarterback. Secondly, Rob Scott, yeah, I got issues. That's why I'm in therapy. Have you not known this? And again, Rob says congratulations to her. And again, man, major kudos, man. Again, I mean, it's good to see, society's evolving and things like that are happening.
We got to get on the show, Jay. Atkins should come on the show.
Can me and Logan?
Frankie, hold on. I got to go back one. I did not give Frankie the opportunity. Frankie, man, what do you think about the promotion of Miss O'Connor?
Well, first of all, I want to just say it's good to be back on an episode with Jay where he just skips a couple of analysts here. It just feels like home. There won't be a 2-year anniversary without that happening. Secondly, I want to say to Big Shaw, where the hell is my cognac, man? I need a drink over here with all these girls I'm dealing with. I need a drink of some cognac. But
hey, man, I just love how Big Shaw probably is in the park.
I don't know this time, but I don't know if y'all can see it.
Got that in his background.
This is some good stuff. It's 40% in there. So, man.
Logan, get us back on track, man. How do you feel about the promotion of Miss O'Connor in conjunction with Kim Ng as GM?
Again.
Before I give it off to Frankie for the main event, I'm all for it, man. I think it's awesome. People bash Jeter for what he did with the Marlins under his role with, not much on the field success, but off the field and in the business world, he has really done a great job with promoting equality, being very progressive. And it's great to see, like you said, I mean, baseball's been around literally for hundreds and hundreds a year, and we're still making history. So congrats once again to Caroline O'Connor. Great job.
Absolutely. Frankie, I'm not going to skip over you. I gave you the opportunity, but if you have more to say, I'll give you 1 minute. What's up?
Yeah, all I wanted to say was congratulations to her. I mean, like all the rest of us here agreeing, like it's finally showing that females around the world that are into sports like this are getting an opportunity. If you can't get an opportunity on the field, you're getting an opportunity in the front office, and it's just a great feeling here in baseball in the future of what baseball is looking like. I mean, for my Yankees, I don't think, we're ever going to have a female front office. I think we got a couple, but like not as president or anything like that, something from lower level for them. But this is a great opportunity for Miami, and we're just going to see, why Miami still are not going to be making the playoffs. And, this is the reason why.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, folks, let's get into I know what Frankie's going to love to talk about.
Yeah,
these Bruins are off to a 9-0 home start. But hold on, Frankie. I don't want you to get too ahead of the game. We got something to talk about, and then I'm going to let you start off with addressing what I'm about to say, and then we'll go around the horn. Again, hey, congratulations. You guys are 14-2. You're number 2 currently in the power rankings behind the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So again, congratulations on that. You're dominating your division. Toronto is in second place at 8.5. So you're definitely dominating your division. But what I want you to think about is the Bruins have retained Attorney General Loretta Lynch to conduct a review of the Bruins vetting process. See, what happened was they signed a defenseman named Mitchell Miller, who's 20 years old. Then they cut him 2 days later before they sent him down to the lower level to get trained up. I think it's the AHL, American Hockey. She's going to be looking into things about why, he was let go 2 days after being hired as a defenseman, was in middle school. And apparently, you can't make this up. They were convicted in juvenile court in 2016 for assaulting and bullying a Black African American. The classmate that they bullied not only was African American, but he had developmental disabilities. It means he was severely slowed in the thinking process. They used racial slurs and made him lick a popsicle that was wiped in a bathroom urine. Now, I'm guessing that the Bruins, when they hired this young man, obviously didn't do their due diligence to look into his background and his history. That's why they let him go 2 days later, which is why the Attorney General is in there looking at the vetting process of how they go about bringing their people in. So, Frankie, albeit the Bruins are badass at 9-0 start, number 2 in the power rankings with a 14-2 record, you guys got issues in your hiring process, brother. Frankie, you got the show.
There's no issue. I mean, whatever you're reading is absolutely dumb and just ridiculous to me. I mean, look at how we're playing. You're mentioning someone who we signed, but then let go 2 days later. That's got nothing to do with how we're playing right now. He's got nothing to do with how we're playing. The man didn't even get to put on his goddamn skis on and got on the ice. All right, he got into the locker room. My man checked out.
If they got skis in hockey, that'd be really weird.
Ski don't matter. You know what I meant. This is not. Damn it. This is our first year fully into hockey. So be easy. All right. So you got the man that walked into the Bruins locker room. He looks at his locker. He sees his name on the locker. He gets all excited. And then, next thing you know, the man couldn't even put his jersey on his back because he got let go. That's got nothing to do with how we're playing. That's got nothing to do with how we're number 2. We're number 2 for a reason because we're playing phenomenal hockey. I've been watching the Bruins, honestly, since the start of hockey season because, my Yankees got eliminated in the ALCS. But the Bruins, man, I've been watching them. Honestly, I've been seeing them since last year. We've all been slowly progressing into hockey here at Unscripted. And we said last year that we were going to get fully into it this year. We picked our teams last year. We were watching the playoffs. We watched the Stanley Cup. So I've watched the Bruins. They've been to the playoffs last year. They're coming off fantastic this year. I'm not even focused on whatever the hell you're reading to me on ESPN on what the hell the Attorney General wants to do on who we sign or whatever. That's got nothing to do with how we're playing. We're playing phenomenal hockey because we're just playing so damn good. And I'm loving it.
Did you want to comment on what John said? On John Suggs' comment there? Did you want to comment on that as well? Since you're already speaking.
Yeah, no, I do agree. All 3 of them are actually playing. What's his name? Marchand, or however you say. I can't pronounce it really, really well. But Marchand, whatever. He's been playing really fantastic hockey for the past 2 to 3 years. I've been watching him really good and really closely. But the way these 3, and he makes a good point. The way these 3 are playing together on the ice is phenomenal, and that's why they are where they're at right now at 14-2, number 1 in their division, and 9-0 at home. I can't wait to see what the rest of the season is going to bring. But I never keep my mind set on regular season. Yes, we're having a fantastic moment right now, and we're having a historic moment. But my mindset is always on the playoffs because at that time, anytime, any sport, any league, doesn't matter. Playoffs is always different from regular season. If the Boston Bruins can have this momentum going into the playoffs, best to believe I'm going to be celebrating a championship, boys, and I'm going to finally be happy this year.
Logan, Boston Bruins, 9-0 home start, 14-2 right now. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they came out the gate slinging, man. They've been looking really hot, and there's a reason that they're one of the top teams in the league so far. And for Frankie's, happiness, hopefully they can continue that for the remainder of the season. But like I said, they're scoring a bunch of points. They're looking good, and we'll see if they can keep it up, man. Like you said, 9 at home, that's impressive.
No, absolutely, no doubt about it, man. Big Shaw, Bruins. What do you think?
Well, Jay, before I talk about the Bruins, I just really started watching hockey a few weeks ago. But I'm gonna tell you this: if you like Hennessy, you like that cognac. This stuff is pretty good. But I like the Bruins so far. I mean, if I had to pick a team, I'd pick the Bruins because I like their uniforms and I like the way they play. But I needed to watch more hockey. But I am watching some good college basketball right now. I know Duke is playing in Kentucky and Michigan State, but I like the Bruins so far. I'm gonna be a Bruins fan. I'm gonna buy me a Bruins jersey next week and start watching more hockey.
Shaw. That's why I love Shaw. That's why I love Shaw. He knows. He's just like me. He knows the winning teams. He knows it. And he's not just saying that. He's not just saying that because he's drinking that absolutely beautiful cognac right there. He's saying it because he knows it's true.
Look at that.
Gonzo, are you there, brother?
I think he'll be right back.
Yeah, I think he did say he's going to be right back. All right, folks. We're gonna jump right into these final thoughts, and then we're gonna go relax. And
hold on, Jay. Hold on. I want to hear your thoughts on the Bruins.
Hey,
I want to hear your thoughts.
What's your thought, Jay?
What is your thoughts on the Bruins?
Hey, my thoughts on the Bruins is they're not the Dallas Stars. Look at this. Dallas Stars, we're not bad. I mean, we're all right. But no, what do I think about the Bruins? Hey, look, man, you are off to a good start, man. I know Philly sports guy. He was saying that, it's the beginning of the season in November and we're talking hockey, but still 14-2 to start off the season. I don't care who you're playing. That's still pretty damn impressive. And I think you're going to build on that. Matter of fact, I know you're going to build on this. It's going to put you in a really good spot when it does come playoff time. So, those three guys that John Suggs mentioned, Marchand, Lindholm, and Bergeron, they are doing great things, man. So, hey, I tip my hats to the Bruins. The Stars got a long way to go, man. So my team is going to be irrelevant for a hot minute, I believe. I think we're about a mid-level, late seed playoff team, but we still got a lot to work on. I know Logan's Carolina, what's the Carolina Hurricanes? Yeah, they're doing pretty well. Gonzo, I know you're up there. Are you a Blackhawks fan? Who's your team?
I'm just starting to watch hockey, but if I had to claim a team, the closest to me would be Columbus.
I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. John Suggs, man. We actually did I don't know if you caught that, but we did a breaking news snippet, 15-minute snippet show on that. And, for the three athletes that were murdered and the two students, one that was in, I believe it was critical condition, and the other one was in good condition. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of those victims. And again, I can't tell you enough how much, I hate to say it, but that university really let those guys down. The University of Virginia completely dropped the ball, and they really owe a debt of they really owe a lot to these families, man, honestly, because I don't know if you're familiar with the back. I'm just going to go real quick, and then we're going to go into final thoughts. But basically, the Delvin Jones Jr. He commented that he had a handgun on campus. He also had a 2021 arrest for a misdemeanor concealed weapons, and he also was under investigation for hazing. That was later dropped only because the people that he was hazing didn't want to testify. And yet the university knew all of these things. They knew about the concealed weapons misdemeanor. They knew about the comments that he had a gun on campus. They knew about the hazing that he was doing. And yet they still let this man on the bus without even so much as wanding him or a metal detection to make sure that he did not have that handgun as he approached the bus. Now, this guy went all damn day. He got on the bus at 10 in the morning. He went to the play in D.C. They went out to eat. They did a little shopping. They got back on the bus. They got into the parking garage 12 hours later at 10:43 in the evening. And before they could disembark the bus, he decides to start shooting people point blank in the bus. What a coward. Number one. And number two, shame on the University of Virginia for not protecting their students and their athletes when you know somebody that's going onto your bus has a criminal history of firearms and hazing? What are we living in?
But I was
off my soapbox now.
Has it been?
If anybody wants to comment on that, please do so. We're in final thoughts.
The second shooting that happened in Virginia at this college?
I don't know if it was the second one at the college. I don't know all the history of it. I just know
one of them schools in Virginia that it might have been, I can't remember, but I know it was one of them. But yeah, that was a tragic situation out there for Virginia. But I think what they should do is cancel the games they got coming up this weekend, because this is still fresh. You don't know what a lot of these students got, going through their minds, and the players as well. So I think, Virginia Tech. Okay, this is where Virginia Tech. Okay, thank you. So I think that the game should be canceled this weekend that they have, because you got to make sure everybody's okay and stuff like that, because this is still fresh in their minds. So I think the big dogs should get together and just do what's right for the school, and that's to cancel the game.
They should definitely cancel the game, but there's a bigger issue in this country, from pre-K all the way up through graduate school. The administrators of the early school and the administrators of the graduate schools have really got to enhance their safety protocols. They've really got to enhance that when you find out information that you follow up on, there needs to be stricter safety guidelines put into all these campuses, man, because I'm tired of turning on the TV and seeing a shooting at whatever, educational facility there is around the U.S. We just had the one out in St. Louis, not even a month ago they had that shooting. So I'm just imploring all educators, administratives, school, districts, hey, start improving your safety protocols, because these people deserve better. All right, off the soapbox. Hey, final thoughts. We're going to go around the horn. Logan, I want you to start off. Final thoughts, brother.
Yeah, final thoughts. Once again, everyone, happy 2-year anniversary. I don't know how we did it, but my God, we did it. I don't know if you saw, but a little bit earlier today, Antonio Brown released some text messages. Did anyone ever see this?
I did.
I didn't see it.
Basically, he released a text message that Tom Brady sent him back in 2021. Right here, Brady was just saying that, basically you're demonstrating very poor decisions and poor communication to so many people who've given you chances to help you and stuff like that. And Antonio Brown, I'm guessing, is trying to spin it like Brady is the bad guy here or something. I don't know. Like I said,
it to you, Sean.
Frankie will send it so you guys can read a little bit more. But, God, it's insane.
But when you read it, don't get confused, because the message does say to Tom Brady. But if you know, for iPhone related reasons, like when you look up a certain message, that's how you have to do it.
Right.
So it's a message from Tom Brady to Antonio Brown. Don't get confused when you see to Tom Brady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Tom Brady sent that message to Antonio Brown last year. And like that, you guys can read it. But yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure it'll be something. Sports, like you said, Yasiel Puig, I didn't speak about that, but my God, Pete Rose is just laughing right now, I'm sure, with all that.
I'm absolutely sure he is.
Bro, he was betting on basketball in the offseason. Where was he going? Basketball wasn't even playing for half that time.
He wanted to make sure he had no subs in.
Bro, when you're betting over 900 times, I think you got an issue. But yeah, like I said.
Yeah, you definitely, especially, hey, he was $292,000 in debt. He pays $200,000. That still leaves a balance of $92,000, and then you want to pay another $899 more bets?
Man had a bright future, but just it fizzled out as fast as it became one. But yeah, once again, everyone, happy 2-year anniversary. Let's hope for 20 more.
Absolutely. Frankie.
Yeah, my final thoughts is, just like Logan, happy 2-year anniversary. I'm glad to be part of this network. And this group of guys, I mean, we all have our up and downs. I mean, me and Jay literally just had a heinous, and if you know, that's why I wasn't on Unscripted for a while. You know, sometimes me and Jay get heated, and we need a little break from each other, but we made up because, you know, we're family at the end of the day. Everybody here on Unscripted is family no matter what. Even Shaw was away from Unscripted, but now my boy's back.
That's right.
We're just a big bunch of brothers. So happy 2-year anniversary to all of you guys, and I can't wait for more. Also, on the shooting, there was also another shooting today in Iowa. I was watching the news with my wife earlier. Chris, I don't know if you're near Iowa or whatever like that, but Iowa had a shooting at their school where 3 females and a male were shot. No, they were shot. That's that. They were shot. So look up on that. Jay, I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Things need to change. Things need to change in this world with gun laws and everything like that. But on sports related news, I heard that the Washington Commanders are up for sale, and Dan Snyder, I think that's his name, Dan Snyder. He's looking to sell the team for a record of $5, $6, or $7 billion, and I don't think he's gonna get that much.
I don't know if they're worth all that.
Already made him my offer.
Yeah.
We'll all pitch in. We'll buy the Commander.
For basketball news, man, I'm glad that the Lakers got their 3rd win of the season. They're 3-10.
There you go.
We beat the Brooklyn Nets. But I'm not really happy right now to talk about NBA. I'm on the same boat with Jay right now. We're just trying to stick in our corner and stay quiet on the NBA league until we get a little bit better.
There you go. That's before someone else goes, I just want to read the fantasy standings real quick because I know we haven't talked about that in a minute. I mean, we already know who's up front with me, but for the rest of the crew, let's see here. We got our boy Rob coming in. Rob Strite at 4. Brady Tinker making a comeback. He's at 5. Gonzo, you moved all the way to 8th. You're moving up. Pride is 9. Jay, hell of a comeback, buddy. You're at 10. You're on the way. And Frankie, right now you are at 13. You and Jay are tied in terms of records.
Not for long, Jay. You're going down this weekend, motherfucker.
Meanwhile, I'm just looking down from the top. I mean, I'm having a great.
Logan,
I don't know what's going on.
Real quick, since we're talking a little fantasy football, I just want y'all to know that Jay got a big heart. Jay said, "Hey Frank, hey, I know I play you this week, bro. We're both 5-5. I don't want to see you go down like that. You need a wide receiver. I tell you what, I don't even like you, but I'm gonna throw you Lazard. You throw me Harris, and we'll call it good."
Hey, Frankie, all I'm going to say is you're going to win this week. You're facing Damian, who is 0-10 and doesn't even have a quarterback in right now. So, congrats on the win.
I need anything right now. I mean, all my players, literally, I had a fantastic start. All my players ended up getting hurt. Some of them all started having bye weeks at the same time, and it's really bad.
Oh, God. Now, yeah, that week 9 or whatever, I had half my team out, but I barely pulled it out.
Logan, as long as you win it for us here at Unscripted, we're happy. We don't care.
Frankie, real fast
one of us
question.
Got to do it.
John Suggs brings up a question, and I got to ask you that. Yankees giving all these contracts out. Looks like they might be moving on from Judge. I don't know. Saying.
I mean, if LeBron was
that did
playing,
not make Frankie happy. Frankie is in a sad place right now.
I mean, if LeBron was playing, I think. I just got breaking news about that. But if I'm gonna get back to this one. If LeBron was playing against the Nets, I'm just saying right now we would have probably won by like 20 points.
I've been saying it's time for them to move on from LeBron, but for some reason they just want to hang on to this guy. And I'm just like, bro, you can get draft picks, you can recreate, you can switch, you can pivot, you can get yourself out of the hole. But
why would you want to do Jay? If LeBron James was playing for the Houston Rockets, you wouldn't want him to go nowhere.
You sure would?
No. LeBron James playing for the Houston Rockets, I would. Look, I love LeBron. Don't get it wrong, but the man ain't LeBron. Like, he's 38. At some point, just like everybody else, like Tom Brady, he's mortal. He's a human being. He's really gonna start. Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good where we are because bringing LeBron, all that's gonna do is slow down our progress. He's a great player, no doubt about it. That's gonna slow our progress. No, thank you. You can keep him out there in LA.
Hey, just some breaking news that happened during the show. Happened about an hour ago. Terry Francona won Manager of the Year in the AL. Buck Showalter won it for the National League. Congrats to Buck Showalter for a $600 $1 payroll.
What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Shaw, did you go?
No, I didn't, Jay. No, I didn't, sir.
No, Shaw, it's all yours.
Well, first of all, I do want to say this. I know some people, well, I'm going to say what I want to say anyway on my podcast and this podcast too. Well, I think Tom Brady's ex-wife, she was pictured out with another guy. This is what I got to say about it. If that was Tom Brady out with another woman, they'll be talking about him bad. They'll be throwing all kinds of words at him. So I'm going to be the first one to say it. I think she's a thought. If that was Tom Brady or any other man that got divorced, they'll be throwing him under the bus, talking about, oh, he's this, he's that. But she just got a new man just that fast.
Yeah, hey, that just tells you that he was there the whole time.
He was there the whole freaking time. But that's not going to hurt Tom Brady's pockets.
He was teaching her Pilates with the side of yoga.
Yeah.
No big
How do you leave Tom Brady? That's freaking Tom Brady.
Hey, listen, he did a damn good downward dog. Okay, he did a good downward dog. Leave him alone.
For a damn jiu-jitsu instructor. You leave Tom Brady for that? You lost your mind. You lost your mind. She can't even come back out anymore. Put her back in the house. But anyway, 2 years with Unscripted, great guys. But NBA talk, the Lakers is trash. They need to just blow up the whole damn team. Just blow it up, as far as I'm concerned. Just start it all over again. They're trash. I love LeBron James though. He's one of my favorite basketball players in the NBA. It's just nasty and trash over there. Portland, they're doing well. I like Portland because I'm here, so I got to go for them. But besides that, everything else is all good. And Alabama couldn't tie. I hope they can get into the championship because it happened before that I think the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams lost before. That was in the BCS era. So if we can get this to happen Saturday, I would so appreciate it if we can get all these teams to lose Saturday and let Alabama just going up to number 1. But I will say this, I'm telling you what champions are going to be. Mark my words, it will be Georgia versus the Ohio State Buckeyes for the national championship.
Nobody's mentioning
if I had to make a comparison with the Lakers, though, it would be like having a Ferrari Testarossa surrounded by a bunch of Kia Fortes. I don't know. Do with that as you will. Gonzo, man. Final thoughts, brother.
There's a good basketball game on right now. Kentucky and Michigan State college basketball has been a real good game. So if you're a basketball fan, check it out. Happy 2-year anniversary to Unscripted. Also, on another note, Gonzo Sports Room got voted Podcast of the Year by the Hoosier Wrestling Alliance.
There we go.
So,
good job.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was doing a show, got off the show, and it was on. I saw it online, and so I was wondering why my phone was blowing up during the show.
Hey, man. Hey, when you're grinding and doing what you love, man, good things will happen, man. Very, very happy for Gonzo Sports Room as a whole. Tony, your son, yourself, man, you guys are doing great things over there, brother.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Hey,
I'm glad to be a part of Unscripted.
Hell yeah, you are, damn it.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
we worked really hard on that. I mean, we've been going out every weekend, watching matches left and right. Man, it has been really hard, but it's really hard work pays off, and me and Chris going to be more excited. So thank you guys for that.
Listen, guys. When we started Unscripted, man, it was me. I got fired from ASAP. And then Logan's like, and Shaw's like, hey, let's just do our own show. And then we did that. And man, it started out the 3 of us. Then Shaw wanted to go do some independent stuff because he got a big diva head. And then we brought in Frankie. and then after we brought in Frankie, then we brought in Rob Strite. And then, of course, Gonzo, we met Gonzo, brought him in. And then Rob Scott and just everybody else after that, man, just all been part of this show. And now we got the original team. Big Shaw back in the group.
We didn't even start out as Unscripted, Jay. What were we, the Sports Corner or whatever originally?
Well, I don't know, man.
I think that's what it was.
We were just a ragtag bunch of people, man, and Shaw was trying to give us direction, and I couldn't understand half of what he was saying. I had to get Logan to translate. But
one more thing to say. I will say this though. I wouldn't say this. I hadn't said it, but the Migos. Oh man, when they lost Takeoff, man, they broke my heart. I heard about that news. I said, "Jeez, right."
The funeral was at the State Farm Arena where the Hawks play, man. It was wild.
Yeah, man. Can you believe that? 20,000 people. But I really do hope that they catch the punk that did that to Takeoff. He didn't deserve that, man. He was a real quiet guy. You know, you see the interviews, videos. He just seemed like a really low key guy. So I just want to say, man, that was very crazy and unfortunate. But we don't know what happened to Freddie. Who is that?
Yeah. Jay will message you personally or something like that, John. That's off the air discussion.
But I was just thinking, but we've had a lot of really cool, special guests on here. Starting out with Robert Duran Jr. I mean, damn. I mean, how cool is that? You get to, meet, Roberto Duran's son, and he's boxing. We got to meet him and stuff. We had Jonah Clark from Fox 61 on not that long ago. Jim Jeffcoat, a bunch of YouTubers. Joe Stevens, former NBA player, Philly sports guy, and Adrian Roberson, the announcer for the Orioles. And then episode 2, and I cannot remember that guy's name to the life of me, but he was the announcer, I believe, for the Athletics, and that was
Vince Contronio, I believe.
Yeah, there you go. We need to talk to him and get him back on the show.
And don't forget about the female lady from the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh yeah. Adrian Robinson, yeah.
Yeah.
Had the lead announcer for Monster Jam also had him on. We've had a lot of great guests.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get more of that, man. I think we need to get some people to behind the scenes for us as we do the podcast. We can have somebody behind the scenes, doing all the people on and stuff like that, because we reaching out to them. Like, what was that? We need to get somebody to work with us. Like the other podcasts I see out there now.
Applications are open for all. Just messages.
Applications are open, man. And don't forget, man, look, one thing I love about this show, me and Saul, you were talking about earlier about doing things, that other people aren't doing. We've done a lot of that. We've done female centered shows. We've done the Negro Leagues from top to bottom shows. I mean, we really have, got out there and did a lot of other types of things. And I'm proud of the body of work that we've done here at Unscripted and the contributions of everybody and what y'all have done for this show. This show is all about everybody, not just one person. That's what I love about it. We are a family here, and I look forward to the next 2 years and beyond, man. It's going to be a lot of good times. And be advised, at least once a week, we're going to put out a 10-minute snippet of Unscripted. Just, any breaking news or just anything that's going on. We'll have a little 10-minute snippet just to put out there for you guys, at least once a week. I don't know. And no guaranteed day. It's just going to pop up on Facebook, and we'll see how that works out.
Whoever made this cognac, I want to say whoever made this cognac, Frankie, whoever made this cognac is some good stuff, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, find out who it is, see if you can get a sponsor deal. How about that?
Let me say it right now. Hold on.
Let me tell you something. Hey, let me tell you a quick cognac story. This is a very quick story.
Jay, do you want to say this off the air?
When I first came back from Afghanistan, my first one, it was the anniversary of the marriage, and we walked into this nice fancy restaurant, and I noticed above their bar they had a bottle of Louis Trey. Now Louis Trey is about $5,000 a bottle, 5,000. And we ate the whole meal, we did the dessert, we did the whole night, and then I told the guy, I said, listen, I want 2 shots of Louis Trey in a citric glass. How much I gotta run? And the man said $700.
What the?
Hey, and back then Jay didn't care. So Jay said, all right. That man brought out he brought out 2 shots of Louis Trey. I'll never forget it. He put it in the middle of the table. The guy next to me is having his anniversary too, believe it or not. Old guy. And he's looking at me and the wife, and we're just looking at this glass of liquor. And he's like, hey, what's so special about that? Y'all keep looking at this glass and nobody's drinking it. I said, man, that's $700 damn. I'm taking looks. I'm taking pictures. I want people to know what I'm drinking. I'm telling you, look, I smelled it, and it's like smelling heaven. And then, of course, I can only take, I took the first shot in because I didn't want to be greedy. And I'm telling you, man, it was the best thing. It was like liquid butter, cognac flavored in your mouth. No aftertaste, no harsh bitterness, just nice and smooth. And then I gave the wife a little bit, and then I said, okay. But I'll tell you, man, Louis Trey. If you ever want the best cognac in the world, Louis Trey.
Frankie, look at this. I'm going to spell it for you. It's MEUKOW versus cognac.
Say it again.
It's MEUKOW versus cognac. COGNAC. That's in New York. I know that's in New York, Frankie. Frankie, I know that's in New York.
Nah, here in New York, we got that. I don't get that, but I get the Douce.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't afford that. I can afford this right here.
Hey, he said he gonna go get him some Cavassier, and y'all just gonna call it good.
So hopefully we get a.
I want some Douce.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen. Hey. Again, man, I appreciate Philly Sports Guy taking time out of his day to give us a half hour and talk some sports. It's nice of him to come on and hook us up. Again, Logan, my boy, Shaw, my boy, Gonzo, Frankie, the Yankee, Foxboro Frankie, my boy from another mother, my nieces to the uncle. I mean, I love this guy. I love you guys. And this has been the 2-year anniversary of Unscripted. And I do want to do a shout out to my beautiful, beautiful wife, Melanie, who was our moderator for a pretty good period of time until she had to actually get a job that paid. What a time to be alive. But again, man, hey, it's your boys from Unscripted. We will see you Thursday, 7 Eastern. Y'all have a good night. 2 years, baby. We out.